I'm at Smith Lake. For those of you that are my Lyft Rider subscribers, you may know where Smith Lake is in Wash Park. If you're outside of Denver, you may not know. This is where I can put my phone up, face it at me and talk. But this is to see a world in a grain of sand. To see a world in a grain of sand. This is a book. To Whole Foods, which I do. I'm on a break. I went to work this morning, but this is Carol Cook. There's actually a backstory of how I even have her photographed. This is Carol Cook, who shot and killed herself December 30th, 1976, after I met her in the summer of 1976. And she graduated from San Diego High School in Insney. So there's a backstory and even how I got this photo after I was thinking about her one day at a 10-hour break on my way to Buffalo, New York. I'll talk more about that on another video. Book, you probably don't know unless I tell you. This is a book that my girlfriend Carol Cook gave me September 13th, 1976. I was about 23 years old. We met at Stone Steps Beach in Encinitas to see the world in a grain of sand on a beach just like this. So I'm going to read what she wrote on the inside cover and sharing this with you on April 10th, about 3 weeks after my dad has passed away. Let me share this with you. Okay, truth. One of my old mentors, Jack Canfield, part of my story that you may be interested, maybe not, maybe you don't even care. Maybe you don't know who Jack Canfield is. But if you go to YouTube and type in Jack Canfield, you'll see a lot of videos with Jack. Now Jack, I believe I saw, has turned 80. So I kind of figured out he was about 10 years older than me when I started mentoring with him in my 30s. Now frankly, I don't even know my exact age, but I can tell you it was in my 30s. Now why am I bringing this up? Well, one of the things that Jack said among many of my 4 years of doing sound for him that I learned, he said, tell the truth faster. Tell the truth faster. Now, what's interesting is many of the quote-unquote personal development gurus like Tony Robbins, who is one of my now virtual mentors, and then Dean Graziosi. From YouTube, driving to Tokyo. I have a celebrity here in the 16th wine country. His name is Mr. Gentry McCall. He was playing here 20-something years?
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years. 20 years. He's coming out to you right now. Here we go, bro.
Celebrating my 20th season.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
Such a beautiful young girl. All
It's a good example for kids.
Give it on up, y'all. Ginger McComb Show. Check it out.
Gentry, I tried to sneak up on you. How's it going, bro?
There you go.
What's going on?
All right, thank you.
You got something there?
Yeah, something for you.
Oh,
Which
me?
one you want? You want this one? I'll take out.
Bro, this is a gift to me?
Yeah,
This is so cool, bro.
yeah.
Mr. Gentry McComb gave me a picture.
Yeah, that's it. The veteran Ginger McComb Show.
I'll take this, bro.
All right.
I'm gonna put it on my channel, on
Uh-huh.
my videos.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because you're the main
live,
man.
Ginger McCombs, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have copies to give to everybody.
No, but you gave me one, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gentry gave me this. It means the world, bro.
Yeah.
And I just spontaneously came out here, bro.
Uh-huh.
How you doing, my friend?
I've been hanging in there.
Well, we're all hanging in there, bro. We're all hanging in there. That's Gentry McComb. I'm going to talk about, I'm cutting in this, but you know, all my videos are not live because this isn't a live, this isn't a Zoom. And way I talk to myself, talk to the camera, talk to stuff going on in my life. Let me show you the view. I'm actually in swim trunks. Let me show you how beautiful this is, Smith Lake. Check this out. Now, in my real time, I left my parking garage around 5, went to Starbucks in Glendale, about a 10-minute drive, did some video stuff, daylight. I drove over here. It's kind of a ritual. I don't even know what time it is. Now, this is prior to May, when the leaves all come back on the trees. This whole park will change because we're going from winter, snow-capped mountains, snow, to my favorite time of year here. I lived here, for those of you who don't know, I moved here originally at age 37 after living in San Diego, California from age 7 to 37. A 30-year history. Orlando Park Elementary School, Horseman Junior High School. My parents bought their first house on Vivian Street. It was $17,000. My mom recently said it was now worth $550,000. My mom and dad are quite different than me. They're multiple homeowners because they built 4 houses, starting in high school with the room addition on Vivian Street, and then we transitioned as a family and built a home together when I was in high school. That was the first one. Then the second one was after I left home. They built a home over by San Diego State College when my dad was still in the San Diego PD. They built that. I want to say built, my mom did electrical plumbing for me, and that was going to be the house that they were going to retire in. Second one. Then the third one was up in Big Bear because my sister Kathy brought my mom up and down to a ski resort area outside of Los Angeles called Big Bear City. You see the snow-capped mountains up there? Big Bear was a lot like Colorado. Even though it was outside Los Angeles, it was a ski resort area. But I'm looking forward to some warmer weather, man.
Yeah.
That's good season for you when baseball starts up in warm weather, right?
Yeah.
Someone told me you could go to a baseball game as a senior for $2. And Matthew McConaughey, the actor. Dean Graziosi has said on its Monday Mastermind Call something very similar. What is it? And he actually is a master at this. I'm not. I'm a grasshopper. What do I mean by that? I'm a student of his at age 70. See, here's the deal. First of all, until our last days, now my father, who recently passed away on March 17th, 2024. It was just about 3 weeks and a handful of days ago. It's fast going to be coming. March 17th to April 17th. About 8 days from now, it'll be a month, something like that. But the point is, he recently passed away. But before he actually officially shut down and passed away, he went through a lot of pain and suffering, and both physical, I'm sure mental. I can't speak for my dad, but I can't imagine. I can imagine, but it may not even be the case, because I'm not my dad. I'm just saying there's some possibilities that the truth is, to tell the truth faster, I think my father could have, who knows, as much as he was suffering, as much as it was hard, as much as he knew maybe in his heart of hearts this is the end. Maybe there was could be a sense of relief that this is finally happening. I'm dying. I'm not going to be here too much longer. Who knows? But I do know, for people witnessing it, specifically my mother, basketball net and concrete. A simple thing to do is get a basketball, walk over here and shoot baskets. My dad and I used to do that on Fair Oaks Drive, because my dad played high school basketball, and his basketball scoring records stood for a long time. He was played football, basketball, and track in high school, and he was pretty athletic, even into being in the San Diego PD. But this might be a kind of a fun thing to do, since I live in the city, because it looks pretty. There's tennis courts over here, there's a lake over there, but this is completely free. It'd be real easy just to walk over with a basketball and just shoot some baskets for an hour or something like that. Because it's good exercise. It might be a fun thing to do. I just kind of spontaneously thought about that, and kind of a way to remember my dad, because we used to shoot basketball. In fact, their first home, I drove by there. Actually, take that back. Their first home I found on the computer. I think I might even have it on this phone. The pole that we had is 3/4 of an acre, and we had a basketball net. It was just a dirt court, but my dad and I used to shoot baskets on that. The actual pole, even though the house is probably 51 years old, someone's still living in it, the basketball pole is still there. I don't think the backboard is there, but that's where we used to shoot baskets in the yard. And that's why I started thinking about my dad as I was walking by this basketball court here at Wash Park. Lake, I just walked over from where my car's parked here at Wash Park. You can see the homes right there. And again, this is only about a 15-minute drive from my loft downtown. Completely different environment. Denver has a whole bunch of parks. Sloan Lake, City Park, Cheeseman Park. There's parks all over the city, a little bit of nature in the city. But then, if you drive about 30 minutes outside the city, you start climbing out of Denver into the Colorado Rockies. And Vail is about an hour-and-a-half drive, but takes 5.5 hours to drive from Denver over the Colorado Rockies to the western slope to Grand Junction. I've done it gazillions of times in the truck. And when I went to see my dad, I drove over the Rockies to see my dad, and then in reverse drove over the Rockies to make it back here to Denver. But this is just tennis courts. I'm walking back to my car, and this is looking back at the other lake here at Wash Park. since high school, 72 years. She, aside from me, or my sister Janet or Kathy or Jerry and Shirley or Roger or anybody that was there through my dad's passing away stage, which was, see, I witnessed the very beginning of it. Bear with me. Give me a few more minutes to explain the significance of this from my perspective. On June 1st, it's now April 10th, I believe. April 10th, Wednesday. April 10th, Wednesday. So I have another phone with a calendar on it, see? So I can actually count out the days since my dad officially left this earth. Just to be exact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 days ago, and it's just 2 more weeks, it would have been his 91st birthday. So it's still fresh. Found out my dad, it's now Tuesday, my dad passed away at age 90 plus on Sunday about 7:30. But there's an interesting story about my dad related to this. My dad was an artist, and one day, this related to trucking too, I was coming home from my home time in Arizona City, and I stopped at a Love's truck stop, and I saw this illustration on a package that was a package for a knife to whittle with. And I thought this looked just like my dad. So I actually bought a few of them, took it home to my dad, and found it was my dad. What happened is my dad not only painted, but he modeled for world famous, very successful artists. And the artist that he modeled for, a Chinese company took his image and borrowed it without the artist's permission. And it was actually my dad. So my dad was on packaging to sell knives all over the United States at Love's truck stops. And this is my dad. Photo, remembering my father doing what he loved. He painted for 40 years up to the last couple of years when his health declined. This is a photo of him. My mom and him traveled 3 months out of the summer in a fifth wheel, and he painted landscapes. And this is a photo of my dad painting, his favorite thing in the world to do. He did it all the way up to the last, I don't know, year or so before he passed away. This is all part of my backstory, but this part of my backstory is going way back. This is going back about 15 years or so. This was going back before I went out to California and Arizona and started my truck driving career. I left Denver with $250 to my name. I left everything behind, including all of the, and here's another really important point about this. When I was in the Barrister Building, I had what I considered my video studio, and I was telling people I'm making movies or videos. And there was a point I was actually driving a limo back and forth to the Hyatt and at the tech center by day, and at night I was going to the library and getting DVDs and videos, and I set up my Barrister Building studio as like a video recording studio, and I was making what I called back then, now taking consideration this was 15 years ago, I made video collages passionately for 6 years while I was living here. 6 years. St. Mark's is my favorite coffee shop, but it is about technically it's about 2 miles. I can show you on my Apple Maps on my computer. It's technically about a 10-minute drive. It's directly east on 17th Avenue. A really nice, cool neighborhood. I'm going to show you the neighborhood right outside of St. Mark's. Snow in the old houses. And this is the neighborhood in spring and the summer, April, May, June, July, August. Obviously there wasn't any snow, it was summer. All these trees that you see with snow on them, during the summer, starting about May, they blossom with leaves and it looks completely different. There's no snow on the ground. Now you can see all the cars that are parked out in the street. They're all people that live in apartments or houses here. And what's different with me now is I don't have to park out in the street because I have a 7-story secured covered parking garage